All right, I got one more in me for guys. I got one more in me. Hello, my name's Ethan. Make sure to check out my website, eatthewrenn.com. From there, you can find links to all my various socials. We're currently live on Twitch, YouTube, and the front page of my website. So make sure to follow and subscribe if you'd like to get notified when we go live next. On my website, I have a blog. As you can see here, here's an example of what one of the pages may look like. Just go to eatthewrenn.com, click on the blog button, and you'll be presented with a bunch of different articles. As you scroll through, you'll notice that each and every blog post has its own unique video that coincides with the content. And at the bottom of every page, you're even able to leave a comment and let me know what you like, let me know what you didn't like, let me know how I can improve. I'd really appreciate it. Go to my YouTube page, guys. I'm constantly updating with new content, and I'd highly appreciate if you guys go and subscribe over here. Basically, everything we cover in these live streams gets distributed here on YouTube, and it's a great way to kind of keep informed on what we are doing next. At the top of my YouTube channel, there's this tab here that has playlists. If you click it, you'll be presented with a bunch of different playlists that help organize my content. We have over 800 videos now, so it's no easy task trying to sift through it and find what it is you're looking for. So if you're looking for commodity videos, gaming videos such as Lost Ark, maybe you want some more qualitative stock content covering like inflation and things like that, we have the Let's Talk Stocks playlist here. So what is the next symbol we're going to be covering? We're going to be covering symbol KBH. This is KB Homes. This is one of the underlyings for symbol nail. They are a home builders company. Okay. So what are some of the things that I see in symbol KBH that made me want to talk about it today? Well, you might have just seen that we finished covering symbol nail, and we concluded that nail, which is a 3x leveraged home builders ETF, is extremely overvalued right now. And the sector basically has a peaking RSI, a peaking MACD, sentiment is above average. These are all things that would make us conclude that the home builders 3x leverage ETF is at its peak, and it's clearly gone through this horizontal price channel before where it's had these 80% sell-offs. It would only make sense to potentially look at some of the underlyings for symbol nail. KBH is one of them. So what are some of the things we see in KBH? Well, KBH has this upward trending price channel. As you can see, it has this resistance represented by the red line, kind of has this midpoint, and then it has this support way down here. Clearly, the current price is much closer to its resistance than it is support. It is almost kind of smacking its head against it, for better or for worse. It has had a little bit of spinning in its share price over the past month, right? So we are on the weekly time frame represented by this W here. It means every candle here represents 1 week of time. And we have a green candle, red candle, green candle, red candle. And then we have 2 red candles, and then we have a green candle that looks like a gravestone doji. So just to interpret candlesticks a little bit. And we're generally starting to see a little bit of a sell-off here. Very comparable to what we saw here in May 21, very comparable to what we saw here in July 2023, and a prior example of where this stock had sold off would be in July 2018. If you guys go to my Discord, again, this Discord's completely free. I highly recommend going to check it out. We've been talking about symbol KBH as well as nail and as well as Wrenn over here. And as you can see, on January 23rd, 2024, only about a week or two ago, we shared this chart in the Discord. We're going to open this one as well. We have a weekly and we have a monthly. And anyone in the Discord is able to generate these charts utilizing a Discord bot called the Stock Bot. We love the Stock Bot. We've been using them for years, literally years at this point. Great people. I love the tool that they have created over there. So again, this is the monthly chart for symbol KBH. And one thing I wanted to note was the RSI and the MACD. At the bottom here, you can see the RSI is currently overbought. This is typically a sign that the asset is overvalued, or potentially it's not a good time to be scaling into this particular asset. You definitely don't want your average to be at a $60 range. That is just exorbitant. It is huge. It is high. The MACD is also currently signaling that it is overbought or potentially that this asset is overvalued, or it's not a good time to be scaling into this particular asset. Another thing that we would typically look at when analyzing a company such as KBH would be its standard deviation. The standard deviation would be represented by the Bollinger Bands here. We can use both of these charts. We have the monthly on the white chart, and then on the dark chart is the weekly. And as you can see, for both of these time frames, the current share price is at the top end of the standard deviation as represented by the Bollinger Bands. That would be this squiggly red line here, or the top end of this shaded area over here. So clearly it is above average. It's not a good time to be allocating into an asset such as this. What else can we conclude? Looking on the monthly chart, the bottom end of the standard deviation for KBH would imply that the support is near a $20 price point. And on a weekly time frame, the bottom end of the standard deviation would be roughly $39, which is uncoincidentally a very similar price point to its weekly 180 moving average. As you can see here, the weekly 180 moving average does tend to act as a bit of a support for symbol KBH, but it has broken below this 2 times as represented by this chart. Let's switch time frames to the monthly. As you can see here, this blue line represents the monthly 180 moving average. And I also want to point out, looking at far back in their price history, this is roughly 2005. So it's prior to 2008. 2008 starts right here. So would have already fallen off as much as 63% heading into 2008. Something to keep in mind. But as you can see, it's been at this price level before and it has dramatically sold off from that high, as much as 88%, 90%. And in what has been 18 years, give or take, KBH Home has been trying to reclaim that price point that it was at as far back as 2005 for the past 18 years. And it still has not done it, guys. You do not want to be stuck in something like that, right? So again, zooming in a little bit, this is the monthly time frame, and as you can see, throughout the month of January, it has underperformed, and it has actually gone down as much as 3.53% in the month of January. Definitely underperforming. There's a lot of products that have not seen depreciations through the month of January, but Nail, the home builders kind of subsector here, is definitely one that has not performed very well throughout January. And again, looking at all the indicators we typically look at when we're doing our analysis, we're not just analyzing the company, but we're also analyzing some of the sectoral ETFs, some of the leveraged sectoral ETFs. All of our information provided to us would tell us that these are currently overvalued and they are kind of due for a bit of a pullback. So looking at this chart, we are currently projecting as much as a 40% move to the downside in symbol KBH. It could go a little lower. It could be around 40. 40% is a very conservative estimate of where we could see this symbol going moving forward. As you can see, it's sold off as much as 50% in the past, multiple times. With a 50% move to the downside in February 2022, a 73% move in February 2020, a 50% move to the downside in May 2018, and a 58% move to the downside in 2013. So this happens quite frequently. This is not abnormal. In fact, this should be expected. What else do we want to add? 2023 was not the best of years for symbol KBH, even though its, share price might have performed extremely well throughout 2023. A lot of things did extremely well in 2023. But if we look at their financials, in 2022, they had a peak in their revenue and their profits, producing a revenue of $6.9 billion in year 2022 with a profit margin of 11.77% with a net income of $812 million. But in 2023, they had a revenue of $6.4 billion. This is down. What, 5%, give or take? And then their net margin was down from 11.77 8.77% in the year prior. It was down to 9.14% in 2023, with their net income dropping all the way to 585.9 million. I need water, guys. So this growth that they had experienced between years 2020 and 2022 clearly kind of hit a bit of a peak, starting to come down a little bit. Financially, that is not excellent. That is not excellent. So using all of these different things that we've covered here, from the technical analysis on both the weekly and the monthly time frame, we have an overbought MACD and RSI on both a weekly and a monthly time frame, guys. Again, this is weekly, overbought RSI, monthly, overbought RSI, KBH Homes. The financials are not doing that great. The dividend yield for KBH is 1.32%, which isn't too bad. It's very average, though. It's not extraordinary by any means. So it's for all these reasons that potentially shorting KBH could be a very good idea. And again, you could potentially short it with shares. You could short it with options. You could potentially even short a sectoral ETF. If we're expecting a 40% move to the downside in a product such as KBH, a 3x leveraged ETF, you might expect a 120% move to the downside with some splits along the way. So using both of these products, both Nail being overvalued, KBH being overvalued, it's pretty easy to draw a conclusion that we could expect a pullback across home builders as a whole. And that's pretty much everything I have to say on symbol KBH. Again, make sure to watch our VIX and Volatility Index video that we just recently released here in January 2024. It basically showcases that the VIX is currently at historical lows, a level that it's never broken below for the past 40 years, and we are currently anticipating a bounce in the VIX Volatility Index, which will lead to an increase in valuations for option premiums, as well as potentially pullbacks across share prices globally. So it's something to keep in mind. It's very apparent. The information's already out there. Do with that information as you see fit. For everyone who made it this far, thank you so much for watching the stream. I really appreciate anyone who stopped by. I hope to see you guys watching the content and enjoying the content on YouTube. Again, thank you guys. Really appreciate it.